Alright, third episode of the Fallout 76 weapon guides. This time we are on to the Western Revolver. Western Revolver is a slow-firing, high-damage pistol in Fallout 76 and is more or less just a clone of the standard 44 Magnum, except it's more powerful and has a little bit different of attachments. So, it holds 6 rounds of 44 ammo. The firing rate is 6 according to the little cue card. Firing type is manually operated, single action, meaning you have to cock the hammer back every time you use it. Reload speed seems to be just over 2 seconds, at least according to my timer. So, for the receivers on this I think are glitched to where the hardened doesn't actually provide the most damage. Usually on guns, the hardened receiver is the one that gives you the most damage but has very little other stat increases. However, on the Western Revolver, both the Severe and the Refined give more damage than the Hardened does. So those are the 3 I recommend. Either right now, I'd say go with the Severe or the Refined until that's fixed. Once that's fixed, go with the Hardened. So for the barrel, always pick a long barrel. The long barrels means more range. More range means less damage drop-off. Now you have 3 to pick from in terms of barrels, which I think are the best ones. The true long barrel, the stabilized long barrel, and the aligned long barrel. For the grip, well, you have 3 grips to pick from in my opinion. The 3 best ones are the true grip, the aligned grip, or the precise grip. Either of these depending on what your preference is. Each one give different stats and increases and minuses here and there, but these are the 3 best. For the sights, we again have 3. You have the good old iron sights, a reflex sight, or a scope. Personally, I would say ditch the scope. Even though I said more range is better, you're not going to be sniping with the revolver. The revolver is a close range gun in general. So you have to pick between the iron sights and the reflex sight. I go with the iron sights simply because I like irons. They work for me. The reflex sight, I think, doesn't work as well on the Western Revolver, but if you want to use it, go ahead. It does give stat increases, however it does also give stat decreases. So for the perks, well, strength. So in strength, you have 2 perks that will work for you here. They're not main buffs. They won't directly buff the 44, but it will kind of do a side buff. Obviously, you have Bandolier, which makes it so your ammo weighs less. Less ammo weight equals you're able to carry more ammo. Always a good thing. Then there's also Strong Back. If you find yourself getting overcumbered, this lets you carry more ammo, because you have more carry weight. Perception is odd, in that it actually has a primary buff for pistol builds, especially the revolvers. Crack Shot is going to improve your range and your hipfire accuracy. A very good perk to take if you're using pistols, especially the revolvers. Then there's also Exterminators, which will help you go through the armor of bugs. I would take this simply because there are no armor penetration perks for the pistols. So this is the only armor penetration besides legendary effects you're going to get. So for endurance, there isn't really much of it in endurance that's going to directly buff revolvers, especially the Western Revolver. You have Revenant, which will give you a large damage increase after someone revives you. There is also Chem Fiend, which will increase the length at which chems work. So if you have any chems that directly buff damage, or critical chance, Chem Fiend is good to have. Charisma. Not much in Charisma. Obviously there's Tenderizers, which will increase the damage a little bit for each follow-up shot. It's always good to have a little bit more damage. There's also Strange in Numbers if you're running in a group and they have mutations that affect the revolver. Intelligence. Well, there's Gunsmith and Weapon Artisan if you want to have your weapon not degrade as fast and you want to keep in the action longer without repairing it. And there's Nerd Rage, which will buff the revolver's damage. It will buff all your weapons' damage if you are at low health. This goes great with a bloodied build and if you have adrenal reaction as well. Agility. Agility is where you're going to be getting most of your buffs for the revolvers. So obviously there's every rank of Gunslinger. There's Gun Runner, which is an interesting perk that lets you run faster while holding a revolver, or any pistol. Packing Light, your revolver will weigh less, as well as all of your pistols. Some people think that this perk is useless, however, if you're carrying a lot of pistols, like you have a pistol for every occasion, then this might be a good perk to take. Modern Renegade, great perk for more accuracy and limb damage. It has a chance to break limbs. Good versus large creatures like the Scorchbeast Queen, the Behemoth, the Sheep Squatch, really anything. Adrenaline gives you more damage for each kill you do, combined with Gun Fu, which gives you more damage every time you kill something in VATS. You can get a large damage increase. And then there's Ammo Smith for making more 44 rounds. On to Luck. Luck is very good for pistols because your Luck has a lot of perks that allow you to spam criticals, as well as some damage buffs. So there's Psychopath, which is good for getting more criticals. 4-Leaf Clover, again for more criticals. Crit Savvy, more criticals again. Better criticals, your criticals do more damage. Grim Reaper Sprint will help you refill your action points, allowing you to get more criticals. And for luck perks about not spamming criticals, you have Quick Hands. This will instantly reload your revolver after you use every shot. Do not rely on this. It's not something that you can get to activate every time. It's something that happens randomly. Luck of the Draw will help with your weapon's durability, randomly repairing it. Bloody Mess for just eking out a bit more damage out of your pistol. Plus, enemies explode. Primary legendary effects you should be looking for on the Western Revolver. A-Class, Anti-Armor, Berserkers, Bloodied, Junkies, Double, Quad, Executioners, Instigating, and 2-Shot. Each of these are good to really good on a Western Revolver. They're all good because they each either improve just straight damage or they improve the DPS. V-Class, these are the ones that are okay, except you need a good secondary or third legendary effect to make them really good. So, this is Medics, Vampires, Furious, and Mutants. Vampires and Furious really need improved rate of fire, because they both work basically on speed, of how fast you can get as many shots into the target as possible. Because Vampires doesn't heal on every shot, it has a chance to heal on a shot. And Furious does increase your damage up to, I believe, 45% more damage. However, you need 9 shots on a target, which would be basically two reloads with this gun. 6 and then 3 in order to get that max damage out of Furious. So Medics is there if you want to spam criticals in order to heal. Revolvers are good for spamming criticals because they don't use many action points. And this only gets better if you have a Medics that has the other secondary effects that help you with criticals and VATS damage. Then there's Mutants. Mutants is a strange one because while it is just a straight damage increase, if you're mutated, it's only 10%. It's sure it's more damage, but you kind of need maybe faster rate of fire to make it work, so you can improve your DPS a lot. C-Class. This is Zealots, Hunters, Exterminators, Troubleshooters, Ghoul Slayers, Mutant Slayers. All the ones that are like 30% more damage against specific enemy. Sure, that's 30% more damage, which is nothing to scoff at. However, these are too situational. There is a way you can make this work, though, on a revolver. Since revolvers are light, and you also have the revolver perk that lightens your revolvers, you could have a revolver with each of these effect on it, and then just keep switching revolvers. Like you have a Mutant Slayer's revolver. Then when you're fighting ghouls, you switch to your Ghoul Slayer's revolver. Then you switch to your Hunter's revolver. Then you switch to your... Now for D-Class, which are the basically useless ones and you should just scrap right away. Nocturnals, Assassins, Stalkers, and Suppressors. Assassins, 10% more damage to players. That's useless. That's completely useless because other better perks give you more damage and they apply to everything. Assassins is just a worse mutants, and with the damage cap being added to how much damage each player can do to each other, that makes Assassins even more useless. Stalkers, 100% VATS accuracy outside of combat. That's useless. That you might as well just go for instigating. I mean, if Stalkers was 100% VATS accuracy all the time, Stalkers would be amazing. However, it's not. Suppressors. Suppressors only works well if you're going to use a suppressors perk, and I recommend only using suppressors on weapons that have a lot of ammo and can constantly keep the suppressor's effect applied. And then we have Nocturnals. Nocturnals is useless, in my opinion, on every weapon, simply because it's not a straight damage increase. It's a gradual increase as night comes along, and then it decreases your damage during the day. So, now for the mutations you should be looking for. Adrenal Reaction. If you're going to be doing a bloodied build, combine this with Nerd Rage and the bloodied effect to get a lot more damage. Eagle Eyes. More crit damage if you want to spam criticals. Herd Mentality. Improves stats while in a group. Gets even more buffed if you have strange numbers. And Speed Demon for faster running. I don't know if this combines with that one perk that improves your run speed with pistols. However, the reload speed will definitely help you with the revolver. So for food items that will help your revolver out, your Western Revolver out. Mega Sloth Mushroom Soup for more crit damage, along with Blight Soup. Each of these give more crit damage. There's also Sweet Moot Fruit Tea and Thistle Tea. These both also improve criticals as well. Now don't laugh at food builds, because remember, a food build was able to one-shot the Scorch Beast Queen. So, using food to buff yourself is not a bad idea. Especially with how light pistols are. You can carry a lot of these. So, for alcohol, you have Ballistic Block, which will give you a straight 15% damage increase at the cost of durability. And there's also Hoppy Hunter's IPA, which improves your damage versus animals. So, for drugs or chems, Psycho Buff, Overdrive. Each of these improve damage. There's also bobbleheads and magazines that can improve your damage, but these are very rare, and I don't recommend trying to farm them. In general, the Western Revolver, I believe, is the highest damaging pistol in the game. However, it is not as good as a rifle. Most pistols in this game are just weaker rifles, and they're not really primaries. People have tried to make them primaries in this game, and they just kind of fall short compared to just using a rifle. Can you make it work? Yes. Are you slightly worse than a rifle? Yes. Now, if Bethesda were to buff these, I would either give them dual wielding, which is a great way to improve damage and DPS, or I would simply give the revolvers either the ability to fan the hammer, so you can get off 6 shots extremely fast, or make them actually double action, so you don't have to cock the hammer back every time. Overall, I'm going to give the Western Revolver a 3 out of 5. It's the best pistol out there. It's still not as good as a heavy weapon or a rifle. So, 3 out of 5 it gets.